Hi, I'm EJ Chong. Welcome to my panel for the Black Card Members Gala. I just want to go ahead and thank Sel for inviting me to speak, and also to the entire staff of the Black Card Members community for organizing this event for all the Black and Indigenous people of color. Today I will be talking about self-care in the creative community. When Sel approached me about speaking in a panel, I was not sure what to talk about, but I think this is a topic that is applicable to everybody. So I thought I would share my experience with taking care of myself as a human being and also as a creator and artist. So just as a little introduction, my name is EJ. As I said, I am a part-time freelance illustrator and also full-time graphic designer. So if you know me as Ejknoodles on Twitter and Instagram, I do a lot of just digital illustration, art, drawing, and comics, but my full-time 9 to 5 is in graphic design. I am a graphic designer for Kesco Toys and Puzzles, so I design packaging, social media, and various other graphics for them. And yeah, so I graduated from the University of Texas at Dallas with a degree in production design and production. I didn't expect to be an artist, to be quite frank, but throughout all of college I was posting a lot of my art online, and I kind of garnered an audience by making comics and fan art and etc, etc. And so now I am deeply ingrained in the online art community and have just tortured myself joining various creative projects on the side now, even with my full-time 9 to 5 job. And so that can be very challenging to juggle everything that I want to do and everything that I have to do to pay rent, and then also being a person who needs to eat and sleep. I used to be very bad at taking care of myself. I still kind of am. So like this panel is less of a do as I say, and also not much of a don't do as I do. It's kind of just like we're all people who need oxygen and nutrition, and also artists are notoriously bad at giving ourselves that. So here we are. I don't want to say that the online creative community glorifies fatigue and overworking and lack of sleep and lack of nutrition, but I think that you have seen posts from people about like, oh, I haven't slept in 2 days, or oh my god, I forgot to eat all day. Or you've seen other people be encouraging about taking breaks, drinking water, and stretching, because being a creator, and I'm just saying this as a perspective of an artist, you can be any type of creator, like a writer or a musician, and you usually like have a similar experience where maybe you're in the zone and you completely forget to do all of the like necessary like things so that your body doesn't deteriorate in 20 years. Like artists, for example, like when you're in the zone, you will sit at your desk hunched over, not eating or drinking water, and forgetting to stretch, and it's exhausting. And like I think that a lot of people struggle with that, and so I am here to contribute to the pushback against not taking care of yourself. I also want to touch on the gripes and misconceptions of self-care. To be quite frank, I think the term has been co-opted by capitalism, obviously, to like sell you face masks and bath bombs. And when you look up self-care on like social media, specifically like Instagram or Pinterest, you get faces that are primarily like thin and pale and just very fruity and flowery, and it's all about like spa relaxation and etc, etc. And I think it's important to recognize that self-care is very, number one, disciplined. It can be all of those like nice things that you do for yourself, but above all, I want to get at the core of like, just take care of yourself, you know, basic hygiene, basic nutrition, all that kind of good stuff. And because I think self-care has been co-opted by clinical like influencer culture, this panel will be about the basic art of just feeding yourself, because I think that a lot of like nutrition and wellness and health tips are focused on like losing weight, and just it doesn't get to the core of like just eat something, just feed yourself. So I will be cooking some Korean food on camera, but I am not a good cook. These are literally basic recipes that got me through college, because I was, for a very long time, and also still kind of am, very bad at remembering to eat. And sorry, trigger warning for anyone who struggles with disordered eating or has eating disorders, but I have actually had to go to the doctor because of my disordered eating habits. And for, you know, a while it was very unhealthy and essentially concerning, because I would make light of it myself, like the way I was talking about with like jokes. I would text my friends and be like, oh my god, I forgot to eat all day, and they'd be like, EJ, what are you doing? Go eat something. But I mean, you can't live off of the cafeteria Panda Express forever. So I learned how to cook these, and we're going to go to the recipe portion now.
So the first thing I want to show you how to make is 돌자반 무침, which is basically a seasoned roasted seaweed mixed side dish. 돌자반 is that type of seaweed that is very hard, so you want to break it apart before you add this sauce that we're going to create to basically wet it and make it into a mixed dish. To make that sauce, you're going to need gochugaru, or red pepper powder, sesame seeds, and soy sauce. I'm using 국간장, which is a Korean brand, but you can also just use a generic kikuman soy sauce, and of course sesame seed oil or 참기름. You'll also need mashed garlic, but garlic paste in a tube also works. I did not film myself actually mixing it, so here are the measurements that you will need. I never got exact measurements from my mother when she taught me how to make this, and frankly, I think that's colonizer behavior anyway, so just, you know, season it to your taste. Seaweed has a natural flavor that comes out when you wet it, so honestly, it just needs a little bit of seasoning to make it not literally just wet seaweed. And then once you've mixed it, you have a nice little side dish that you can eat on its own with rice, of course. But we're actually going to use that to make another food that I quite enjoy, which is called 주먹밥, which literally means fist rice or fisted rice. Basically, you just take your rice and mix it with some of the seaweed. You can even throw it in the same bowl that you use to make the 돌자반 무침, which is something that I grew up doing because it tastes so dang good. And you could leave it at that and just eat it like that, but we're going to add another element, which is a key ingredient I like to call Spam. So I know some people think that Spam is gross because it is literally processed meat in a can, but it's common in a lot of Korean foods because during US occupation of Korea during the Korean War, Spam was one of the most common foods given out as war rations because there was a food shortage, and it goes in a lot of things like budae-jjigae, kimchi-jjigae, all Korean foods. So you are going to cook your Spam, no oil and pan required, until it is a slightly darker pink. I would say brown, but it just turns darker pink. Then just throw that bad boy in there with some more rice. You want a nice ratio of Spam to seaweed to rice so that it is not too salty but not too underseasoned. Then with clean, wet hands, you're going to form your rice mixture into little rice balls about the size of your fist, which is why they're called fist rice, 주먹밥. You can eat them right away, or you can wrap them in plastic wrap and save them for later, like me and my family used to do when we went on very long fishing trips. This dish is a comfort food to me, both because I grew up eating it and it's also very easy to make. So when I'm really down and I don't want to cook, this is what I make. The next and final thing I'm going to show you how to make is keranmari, or I know in Japanese it's tamagoyaki, but this is keranmari. It's basically a rolled omelet. You're going to crack 3 eggs into a bowl. This makes about like 1 serving-ish if you have a regular sized pan. Whisk it to an omelet consistency until it is nice and yellow, and then add salt for seasoning and your good seaweed. Typically you would actually put in more things like maybe green onions, chopped peppers, anything really, but I'm using what I have. And also, if we're gonna be honest, on a regular basis, there is not much in my fridge, so this will work for now. On a lightly oiled pan on low heat, you're gonna pour your omelet mixture until it is nice and flat. The thinner your layer of egg and ingredients is, the easier it will be for you to roll it, because you also want the inside to cook. Oh, and we're going to add cheese. I have seen this, a lot of people add cheese to keranmari. I think it's kind of a new trendy thing. I hate when people add cheese to Korean dishes. I think it's colonizer behavior, but also I'm lactose intolerant, so. But we don't have a lot in my household, so cheese it is. Then it doesn't take long for it to cook on the bottom. You can use a fork to kind of see if it is. And you're gonna take a spatula and do this folding maneuver. It's okay if you do it very carefully. It's actually not as hard as I think I'm making it look. But also sometimes, yeah, when you flip the egg, sometimes I've just like straight up broken it and gone all the way and made it scrambled. So just take it nice and patiently, and treat it like a folded sheet. Well, don't treat it like a folded sheet actually, because folded sheets are hard to fold, but yeah. And then when you take your roll out of the pan to cut into little pieces, you can let it cool for a little bit, but my mom liked to serve it warm, so I just kind of chopped it up. And then you have some nice little keranmari. They look a little horrendous on this plate, but they tasted good.
Also, speaking of forgetting to eat sometimes, I'm gonna eat right now because my girlfriend sometimes texts me during the day to eat because she knows I have that problem. And sometimes I even just set an alarm on my phone, please eat right now or you're going to die. Because one time I did wait all day until 5 p.m. to eat just like a boatload of food, and then I got so sick that at 1 a.m. I had to call my friend to bring me Pepsid in the rain. And he's here right now, so thank you, Thomas.
No problem.
So yeah, it's not much. It's just seaweed and Spam and rice balls and friggin' keranmari, which is just eggs, but they don't take very long to make and they help feed me. So I would love to hear from you guys, by the way, if you want to, like, show me what you can make in like 5 minutes, just to feed yourself during the day. I'm under the assumption that like most of y'all are very young, because I'm only 24. Maybe you're older than me. That's cool. You made it this far. Yeah, it's hard to adjust to like being an adult and learning how to cook. I know it's a life skill and everyone's got to learn it, but damn, when you're bad at remembering to eat, it becomes like vitally necessary. So I hope this was helpful for you. As I was editing my video, I noticed in the latter half after I eat chumukbap that there was a piece of seaweed stuck in my teeth. So I am refilming to sign off and say thank you so much for tuning into my panel about general self-care and cooking Korean food. I hope it was helpful, or you at least enjoyed watching me flounder a little bit on camera. I hope that you're watching all the other panels. All of the panelists are wonderful creators, just absolutely fantastic people with very interesting topics, And again, I would like to say thank you to Cell and the Black Card members community staff for not only organizing the Black Card Gala and this wonderful online event, but also a huge community. I think y'all have done just a fantastic job and continue to do so every day. So remember to take care of yourselves, and thank you for watching.